Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? Let's proclaim the greatest radio show.
Welcome, fans of The Spread. I'm your host, Jim Sella. I'm in studio with J Dash and Big Easy. We're going to talk some NL player rankings, I guess, here, maybe. Center field?
Center field. We're going to start with center field. Each week we'll do a different position, just National League. We're going to start with number 15 and work our way up to number 1. The Braves, they got rid of one of the Uptons this season, Justin Upton, and they kept the lesser of the two, in my opinion, and most people's opinion, I would guess. The older brother, BJ Upton, at number 15. He's going to start the season at 30. He's going to turn 31 during the season. Listen, he only hit .208 last year, and in 2 seasons with the Braves, he hit .184, and like I said, .208 last year. He only has 21 home runs over those 2 seasons. His biggest problem is his K rate. He has 173 Ks last year and 519 at-bats, and he really got to cut that down to bring his average up.
Dude's garbage.
Yeah, you know, Atlanta, they've never been the team that has all-star outfielders.
Andrew Jones.
They just got rid of Upton and Hayward this season, too. They did bring in Markakis, though.
Let me take that back. Andrew Jones was an all-star.
Yeah, I used to like that guy,
Love
too.
that dude.
Upton, he has a little bit of pop in his bat. He should hit more than 12 home runs, but the problem is all those Ks, it keeps his average down. And he has speed, too. If he can cut down on those Ks, like I said, he does walk enough. But if he can cut down on those Ks, his average will start to come up, and he can start to be the player he was in Tampa.
So you want him to cut down on the Ks?
Yes, cut down on the 173 Ks, my brother.
14 here, we have Juan Lagares from the New York Mets. He's only 26 years old, had a .281 batting average last year. You know, he come on strong at the end of the year. He was over 300, had a couple stolen bases over his last 15 games, and frankly, the Mets need production and from their center fielder nonetheless.
Yeah, this guy's young. This will be his second full season, really. He had 416 at-bats last year. He needs to pick up his walk rate. He only had 20 walks and 416 at-bats. If he can pick that up to around 35 or 40 and keep his average where it's at, he can get that on-base percentage up around 350, and he could be a decent player for the Mets.
Well, it's tough because them you know that rookies, you want to hit the ball, you want to swing, you don't want to walk. I mean, as crucial as a walk may be, you're on base. You get a walk, you're on base.
Yeah.
But you know those guys, they don't want to take, they don't want to see balls go by. They want to hit the ball.
He needs to pick out walk rate up, though, because he doesn't have much pop in his bat, but he does have speed, so the more he walks, the more he can cause havoc on the bases.
The speed is definitely there for him.
At number 13, we're going to go with the Cardinals. It's probably going to be Jon Jay. He's going to turn 30 before the season. They also have Peter Bourjos, too, who's going to be 28 before the season starts. But Bourjos, really, he's never came into his own yet. He was supposed to be a pretty decent player. Last year, he only hit .231 and 264 bats, and he's really injury-prone. But Jon Jay, he's a good hitter, and his on-base percentage, look, .372, that's where you want it to be. But he has nothing else. Like, he's a good fielder, but no pop, no speed. He's just
but that's how that whole team does it.
Yeah, it is. That's why he's good for St. Louis.
Yeah. I mean, they don't have to worry about their center fielder at all because, like you said, they have 2 options there, and they're not going to do a Pedro Alvarez on you. You know what I mean? They're not just going to fall apart. They don't have the shine and the pizzazz as like maybe a Ken Griffey Jr. back in the day, but they're ball players. They just get it done.
As long as they don't wear their hat over their ears like Pedro, they'll be just fine.
Number 12, the oldest center fielder in the National League. He'll be turning 34 during the season, is Angel Pagan. I always like this guy. He's going to be playing center field for the Giants this season, as usual. He hit 300 last year, but it was just in 383 at-bats. He does have a pretty good on-base percentage at .342, and he keeps his Ks way down, which is very nice. And he still has some wheels for his older age.
And he's the defending World Series champion, so
please believe.
I mean, that always starting the season off being the champion always gives you a little bit more confidence.
that 300 average might be a little high. You might not want to expect that again from him, but he is a career 283 hitter, so I wouldn't expect much lower than that.
Now, number 11 here, we have Dexter Fowler, and I'm a sports guy, but I haven't even heard of this guy.
Dexter Fowler?
Dexter Fowler. His name doesn't ring a bell. He's 29 years old. I know he plays for the Cubs, but I just don't see him. I haven't never seen him do anything special.
Yeah, he was actually a big-time prospect. He was supposed to have a big career. He started off in Colorado, I believe it was, and he played for the Astros. He's never come into his own. His on-base percentage is there because he does take the walk. He had 66 walks in 434 bats. He does K too much, though. 108 Ks, that's just too much. That's over 25% of the time. And really, he was supposed to have speed and pop. He does have a little, 8 home runs and 11 stolen bases last year, but people were hoping this was going to be a 2020 guy.
Well, I don't think the Cubs are going to have any room for leeway. If this guy don't get it done, they're going to bring someone else in who can. Because
they do have that young Alcantara to fill in if he doesn't cut it. And
I like
they have
playing
so many
Alcantara for
prospects.
Super Nintendo.
Yeah, I love that game. But they have so many prospects and high-end prospects that if anybody doesn't cut it in his lineup, they're going to be replaced quickly. Number 10, for the Arizona Diamondbacks, A.J. Pollock. He's only 27 years old. He hit 302 in 265 at-bats last year, a good on-base percentage at 353. He doesn't take quite as many walks as you want to, but this is still early in his career. He can work on that. His strikeout rate looks good. He has good speed, and he has a little bit of pop in his bat. He's not one of my favorite center fielders, but he does look like he has some potential.
I'll tell you what, Diamondbacks are going to be. I think the Diamondbacks are going to be a surprise team this year.
Can't be any worse than they were last year, let me tell you.
I know, but it seems like in baseball when teams are really down, the next year it just turns around.
Yeah, it does a lot.
Except for if you're the Pirates, you have
those 20 years.
For those long 20 years, but I think he's due to break out.
I could see that happening too. I'm actually hoping someone in my fantasy league drops him for the draft in my keeper league. Maybe I'll pick him up.
But at number 9, this is a guy that I'm really looking forward to watch playing. Marcell Ozuna for the Marlins. I'm telling you, the Marlins are going to sneak up on people too. They're going to compete.
They did make some moves this season, and he's a young guy. I think this will be his second full season. He had 565 at-bats last year. This dude has some power. He hit 23 jacks, had 85 RBIs. He's not really a prototypical center fielder, though, because he doesn't have much speed. They have Christian Yelich. They're playing him in left field. It's kind of surprising to me that they're thinking of playing Ozuna in center and Yelich in left rather than the other way around. But this guy, he's young. He didn't have the best average last year, but 269, that's still a pretty decent average to have. His walk rate isn't terrible. He does have some upside, and I can see where you're coming from there easily.
Well, he's got a great arm, too, though.
Right.
I mean, that's just something that we always see that's lacking nowadays is arms in the outfield. I mean, I just don't get it. A lot of these guys just don't throw like the guys used to,
Jesse
years ago.
Barfield back in the day, that dude had a gun. Ichiro, when he came into the league, you remember that? Wow.
Just mowing dudes down.
And number 8, good old Denard Span. He's still a good baseball player. He'll be 31 this season, but he still hit 302 last year with the 355 on base percentage. He never really had much pop, but still 31 stolen bases last year in his age 30 season.
Yeah, that's surprising.
Yeah, he's still getting it done, and he doesn't K a lot, which is nice out of a leadoff hitter.
Denard Span is a solid major leaguer. Nationals, they have some security there in center field with him. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I don't see him taking a step back quite yet. He still has a good 3 or 4 years left in him, in my opinion.
And that whole team's on the rise, too.
Oh, their pitching staff is disgusting right now.
That's all that's going to do is help your offense. It's as simple as that.
Please believe.
Number 7, good old Ben Revere. I'll tell you, well, I would have put Span above Revere, but
it was a tough decision for me. They both hit over 300. They're good hitters. The thing to me is Revere is so fast. He plays very well in center field. The only problem on the defensive side is, like you were saying, these guys have no arms. This one is probably the worst arm of them all. And on the offensive side, his K rate is off the charts good. But the problem is 13 walks and 601 at-bats, and that will keep your on-base percentage down. And if he could pick that up, which I don't think he can, his stolen bases would go way up.
Yeah.
But this guy is actually, outside of the number one guy on this list, my favorite guy out of these 15.
That's saying a lot. Well, I don't even... Number 6, who's this?
This is a candidate for Rookie of the Year for the Los Angeles Dodgers. The reason they got rid of Matt Kemp is because they had this guy. It is Joc Pederson. He will be turning 23 in April. That's close to the beginning of the season. In AAA last year, he hit .303, had a .435 on-base percentage, hit 33 jacks, and had 30 stolen bases in just 445 at-bats. So if this was like a full season in the major leagues, he was definitely on pace for a 40-40 season. Now, his problem is definitely the K. Look, 149 Ks in those 445 at-bats. He needs to fix that, or he's not going to be able to hit in the majors. His one upside, 100 walks. He has a great eye. It's just when he swings, he's not putting the bat on the ball, but he has huge power. So if he can drop that K rate, he's going to be a very good Major League Baseball player. He had a short look last season, had 28 at-bats, but he only hit 143. But again, look, his on-base percentage, 351, because he took 9 walks.
Now, I don't know if Dodgers getting rid of Matt Kemp was contract-wise or what the specific reason was that, but you would think with Pederson being in there, maybe that had a little bit to do with it, probably.
It definitely had a lot to do with it. Matt Kemp is owed a ton of money. This guy, they're not paying hardly anything to, and he was a top prospect all last season. People thought he was going to come up earlier in the year, and there was even talk 2 years ago of him coming up when they brought Puig up instead, which was a good call.
Yeah, you gotta trust in these prospects. I mean, you gotta give him a shot. It looks like this is going to be his year to see if he can shine.
Please believe. Number 5, Charlie Blackmon for the Rockies. This guy is going to be turning 29 during the season, and he had a breakout year last year. Some of it may have to do with him playing in Colorado. Most of the time, Colorado hitters seem to hit better than their actual ability.
Right.
But look, he hit .288, had 19 jacks and 28 stolen bases. That's great production out of your center fielder. 82 runs, 72 RBIs. His one problem, he needs to pick up his walk rate so his on-base percentage can go up a little bit.
And the Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Yeah, I like it. I don't think his home run numbers are going to be as high.
You think they're going to drop?
Yeah, I mean,
I could definitely
obviously at home he's going to get his home runs, but
right.
I think he's going to focus more on the stolen bases and the on base this year, and that because obviously I think the Rockies don't need home runs from their center fielder.
Right.
They need on base, they need walks, they need production. So his home run numbers are going to drop, if you ask me.
It is a question whether he can repeat what he did last year, and he's like I said, he's already at his age 29 season. So since he broke out at 28, he doesn't have much time in his prime, and it is a question whether he can repeat that.
Now, this is a guy that I know you love, Sella.
I don't love any baseball players, but okay.
I've seen you. You have a poster of this guy on your wall, don't you?
I don't even have any posters, but again, let's talk about whoever it is.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's not a poster. It's a fathead. You have a Billy Hamilton fathead on your wall, and don't lie.
I honestly can tell you that Billy Hamilton is one of 4 names on this list that I know, but I do not know where this fathead is.
Well, Billy, he's still very young. He's 24. This guy is proclaimed the fastest guy in baseball, but really he got to work on his base running. He did have 56 stolen bases last season, but he got caught stealing 23 times. People were thinking he could steal up to 100 bases. He's going to have to pick up his walk rate to do that, for one thing. Just 34 walks and 563 at-bats. But towards the end of the season, he did have 8 walks over his last 65 at-bats, but the problem was he K'd 19 times and just hit 219 in that span. But his speed is undeniable.
You got to bring that 250 average up.
If you're the Reds right now, you're in a division that is arguably the best division in all of baseball. With the upcoming Cubs, Pirates competing where they are now, St. Louis, they never lose. They're always there. I mean, I don't think if Hamilton doesn't get it done, they might move on.
Well, what if he's
not move on, but sit him on the bench.
What if he's like Willie Mays Hayes at the beginning of Major League last year, and then this year he's going to be like Willie Mays Hayes at the end of the first Major League, where he had all the batting gloves on his wall for all his stolen bases, and then his defense got better too.
Oh,
what if he's Wesley Snipes, and then what if he's
Omar Epps?
Omar Epps, yeah.
That's another reason he's ranked number 4 to me. This guy's he can cover so much ground in the outfield. It is completely ridiculous. You can almost use 2 outfielders with this guy.
Yeah, well, his fielding is top notch. There's no doubt about that. But I don't know. I don't think the Reds are going to be. The Reds aren't going to. The Reds need production. The Reds don't need how we were talking about Ozuna with his arm and everything. Marlins got Stanton. They got other production. The Reds need production. So if he's not getting it done with his bat, I don't think they're going to tolerate that.
Well, if he hits 250, that's not the worst in the world. If he can improve on his walk rate, at 34 walks in 563 at-bats is just not good enough out of your leadoff hitter.
Yeah, it's horrible.
You need to get your on-base percentage up around 320 to 350. But if he can do that, he causes so much havoc on the bases, and if Joey Votto can stay healthy this year, that's going to help a lot too.
Yeah.
And 72 runs he scored last year, and I think he's going to improve because he was just a rookie last year. If he can even pick his average up 10 points, add another 10 walks, you're going to see a big difference if he can improve his base running ability.
He's going to have to improve that average. That's my whole point is he's got to get up around 270, I think.
I agree. If he's a monster on the base path, you just want to see him get on base.
That's why I'm more worried about his walk rate. If he can get on base just by the walk, that's so much better than trying to get on base. Because really, he come into the league, people knowing he's more of a 250 to 270 hitter. He's never going to be a 300 hitter.
Right.
Number 3, we got a guy that Joc Pederson replaced in L.A., moving out to San Diego, Matt Kemp. This is his age 30 season. He had a good year last year towards the end. He hit 287 overall, 346 on base percentage, both good stats, 25 jacks, 89 RBI. As he's gotten older, though, his stolen bases have dropped considerably, and he's not the threat on the bases he used to be.
Because
he's always hurt.
Yeah, he's been hampered. He's been hampered by some injuries. So you know the talent's there.
It is.
Is he going to stay healthy?
He needs to stay healthy. He came back off an injury from 2 seasons ago. He started out this season returning from that injury. He hit 225 in April, got a little better, hit 266 in May, and then he went off. He hit 317, 325, 257, and then the final month of the season, he hit 322 with 9 home runs. So that final month of the season, he showed he may be back fully healthy. The problem I have, he moved from one pitcher's park to another pitcher's park, and now I don't think he has the offense the Dodgers did. So although he's going to be starting more often because the Padres need him every day, unlike LA, I don't see him being...
You don't have the protection in the lineup.
Yeah, he's just not. He's not going to be the player he was 3 years ago, but he's still a great player to have.
And he still can buy a small country with the contract that he got.
Yeah, and he's dated very hot women. I think he banged Rihanna. But
I believe it.
Probably a roof eater.
Now these top 2 here, this is the class of the National League center fielders.
Truth.
2, we have Carlos Gomez. He's going to be 29 this year, playing for a team that I could care less about.
Hate him.
And he's so cocky too, ain't he?
Yeah.
He just
I don't even know who this
Cole,
dude is.
What do you mean you don't know who he is? Him and Garrett Cole got into it. Cole was about to...
You know I'm not a Pirate fan, man, so I wouldn't even have known that he got into it with Cole.
This guy, is a great hitter. He hit .284, which is a good average to have. His on-base percentage is fine at .356. 23 home runs, 34 stolen bases. This is a 5-tool guy. The one problem he has, he just Ks a little bit too much and don't walk quite enough. If he could fix those two things, he has MVP potential.
Wait, is this the guy that punched Travis Snider in the face?
Yeah.
I love this dude.
No, it was
that fight.
Yeah, it was that fight. It might not have been him specifically, but
Whoever punched Snider in the face is cool in my book.
if you want to act a fool, you have to back it up, and he does a little bit, but I've seen him.
He swings
cake.
out of his shoes. You
Yeah.
ever see? He falls on the ground.
His helmet flying around. Take a swing, his helmet flying off.
That's why he hits 23 jacks and Ks 141 times.
He's entertaining. Don't get me wrong. That guy, he's something to watch. He's entertaining. He's like he's the Milwaukee's bruiser because he's under my skin already. The season hasn't even started. I hate this dude.
I hear you.
Oh.
You want to do the number one, or you want me to?
Everybody. This is the spread. We all know who's number one.
Please believe Andrew McCutchen. He's still only 28 years old. Still has a lot of his best years ahead of him. He hit .314 last year, a .410 on base percentage, which is ridiculous.
Swings the bat faster than almost everybody.
25 jacks, 83 RBI, 89 runs, 18 stolen bases. Doesn't K too much. 115 Ks and 548 at bats. And walks a ton, 84 walks. That is beautiful. That's what you need out of your top players.
Well, after that MVP season, the guys were scared. I mean, they were scared of him last year.
Same thing happened to Barry Bonds.
Yeah. So, and you don't... It seemed like there was a point last year for a month or two where he was getting really frustrated that he wasn't seeing pitches to hit.
It does happen.
Now, if that happens again this year, he better learn from it and just...
Take your walk and still second.
It's it.
Please believe. He got a .385 career on-base percentage. Right now, he's on pace to be one of the best players of all time.
Shining. He just shines on and off the field.
Please
Love
believe.
that dude.
We just got to see if he can do it deep into his 30s like all the great players did, or if he'll tail off in his early 30s.
And keep Polanco in line and keep Polanco and Marte in line.
I want to thank you guys for doing all the work in this segment because I don't even know who any of these guys are.
Oh, Jim, yeah, you're here.
Oh, we're talking baseball.
So, fans, you can follow us on Twitter at bet_the_spread. You could like us on Facebook. You can like our YouTube channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you have any baseball questions, #J-, #BigEasy.
Buck 'em.
Because you don't want me to answer them.
Buck, yeah.
Thanks for listening. Peace.